Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, California Resources Corporation, Edison International, Center for Neural Skills, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Kern High School District, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, Tuolumne County Superintendent of Schools, and Valley Strong Credit Union, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Do the Math. I'm Michael.
And I'm Scott.
I'm Aaron. For math homework help, call in Bakersfield 636-4357. Everywhere else, 1-866-636-6284. Email dothemath@kern.org or online at dothemathonline.net and on social media.
All right, thank you for taking care of that, Aaron. So what grade are you in?
I'm in 7th grade.
How's life at junior high?
It's really good.
It's really good? Mm-hmm. What's really good about it?
Like all my friends and my teachers are really nice.
All right, good. And where do you go to school for 7th grade?
I go to Warren Junior High.
All right, so I'm sure you've got a lot of new friends, but did you have some of your old friends from your other school go with you?
Yeah, I have one friend that went to my middle school with me. His name is Elijah, and we hang out all the time.
Oh, good. So that's good that you had a buddy go along with you to kind of make that transition a little bit easier, right?
Yeah.
All right, are you ready to help me out with the social media problem of the day?
Yes.
All right, let's take a look at it together up here. So if you can read that for me, please.
A music store is having its Black Friday sale. The store will give $5 off for the second item a customer purchase. Emma wants to buy a pair of headphones for $25 and a CD for $18.50. How much does she need in total?
All right. So do you have any idea what Black Friday means? Because that's in quotations up there. Have you ever heard of Black Friday, or do you know what that means?
I've heard of it, but I don't know what it means.
Okay, so Black Friday happens the day after Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving is always on a Thursday.
Yeah.
And have you ever seen or heard about a lot of people going out shopping on the Friday after Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Do you do that?
No,
No, I don't. I try not to do that either, right? But I'm sure you've heard of people doing it, right? Mm-hmm. So that's called Black Friday, because what happens is a lot of businesses try to put a lot of stuff on sale and move a lot of product and have sales to have people come in. Because if they were losing money during the year, this is an opportunity to make more money and get them back into the black as opposed to being in the negative, in the red. So that's why it's called Black Friday.
Okay.
If that makes a little bit of sense to you.
Yeah, it kind of
right?
makes sense.
Good. So you're going to get $5 off the second item that you're going to purchase. Now Emma wants to buy some headphones and a CD. Yeah. And you need to figure out what you need in total. So how would you like to figure out this problem? What would you like to do?
Add, like probably addition.
Okay, what would you like to add?
Add $18 to $25.
All right, we could do that. And then what will we do once we finish adding?
Subtract 5.
Good, so that's one way of doing it. So let's go ahead and do that. Can you add 25 and 18 in your head, or should we break it up a little bit?
Let's break it up a little.
All right, let's break it up. All right, so let's go 25 and 10.
25 and 10. That's 15.
25 plus 10.
Oh, 25 plus 10 is 35.
Good. Now, I might bring you along on Black Friday if they go, that's 25 and 10, I'll give you 15. Here you go.
That's right.
You and I will look along well. All right, so now we're at 35 and we have 8 more. Mm-hmm. So if we have $35 we owe 8 more, where are we at?
We're at...
Use your fingers, do it if you need to, that's fine. Okay. They're tools, trust me.
36, 37, 43.
43.
Yeah.
So all we had to add was the 25 and 18, is that correct? Mm-hmm. Anything else?
Subtract 5.
Well, what about that 50 cents on there, brother?
Add the 50 cents and then...
You see the 1850, right?
Yeah, 1850.
Right. So if we had $43 and we sat 50 cents, what do we owe altogether?
$43.50.
$43.50. And what do you want to do next?
Subtract 5.
All right, so if we have $43 and we subtract 5, where are we going to be?
We'll be at 42, 41, 40, 39, $38.
38.
$38.50.
Good, $38.50. So you think $38.50 is the total she needs to pay?
Yes.
So here's another way I would do it. I would think you could take $5 off either one of those. It says the second one, but it could be off of either one, really. Right? So I would take the 5 off the 25 and make it 20.
Yeah.
And 20 and 18 is 38, $38.50. You see how that's another way to do it?
Yeah, it makes it easier.
Yeah, see, that's one way to do it, right? It may not be easier for some, but it's just another way. And somebody might go, I want to take the 5 off the 1850 and then add 13 to 25 and do it that way.
Yeah.
But we're good with 38.50?
Yes.
All right, let's take a look and see indeed if you are correct. There you go, dude. First one done. That wasn't too bad, was it?
Yeah.
All right. 636-4357 is that phone number. We do have phone tutors available most Tuesdays and Wednesdays, except for next Tuesday and Wednesday due to the Thanksgiving break. So we hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving. But time now for today's Math in the News. All right, today's Math in the News. Did you know that today is National Monopoly Day?
I did not know that, Mike.
Well, it's a big thing, Deanna. So you are with Kern Valley Strong.
Valley Strong
I almost
Credit
said that.
Yeah,
but it's
hard to break old habits, right?
Right, I mean, because it was that other name for a long time.
It was.
And it's not like it's a bad thing.
No, it's a great thing.
But we just try to remember that it is Valley Strong Credit Union.
Absolutely, yes.
And Deanna, what is your role with the credit union?
My role with the credit union, I oversee business banking and our cash management services.
And that has a bit to do with Monopoly.
Yes, it does.
All right, because it's not like you're trying to monopolize things, but the way Monopoly works.
Yeah, you can buy companies, you can buy real estate, you're moving money around a board. We do that every day.
Okay, so I know you've got a little presentation here that we're going to talk about that. So if you
Yes.
want to, let's go ahead and go through that a little bit.
All right, I'll walk this way. All right, everybody. Mike, I thought since today was really Do the Math, I'd talk a little bit about our online banking and what that does for our business owners and how it teaches them to save money, manage fraud, get cash in their bank account quicker, and to also think about how they hold on to their cash and make payments a little bit easier on the day that it's due. So,
and it's probably a little bit easier for people starting businesses. I would imagine they're probably on the younger side as opposed to myself. And they're growing up with online banking.
Yes, they are. Many of them are. And sometimes they don't realize the tools that are out there that banks have available to help them run their businesses a little bit easier. I had a little bit of information about the credit union. We were talking a little bit about that. Our credit union has grown now to where we're serving about 358,000 members all throughout the Central Valley. On our business side, we have about 7,300 members going on with our organization. And if you can look here, we've helped a lot of our businesses who are banking with us now at almost 500 million in deposits. So we've come a long way in how we're serving our business community and really could be excited about showing you where we're located. And if we have businesses out there in the community that want to know how they can come see us, we're in the San Joaquin County. We're up north in the Solano County and of course Tulare County. And then originally our roots here back in Kern County, and you can see all of our locations here where we help a lot of our business owners come do the math with us.
I was going to say that expansion of the credit union itself is due to a lot of geographic expansion as well.
Yes, it is. Yeah, kind of going back to our name change, if you want to expand, you want to be able to have that name resonate with people in other markets. So we've had a lot of fun with that, and we get a lot of great kudos around our name, and a lot of people really love the Valley Strong in there and what that means for our community.
There's a lot of people, different places and businesses that use Valley in their name to accommodate a bigger area also.
Yes, so it resonates pretty well. So let's talk a little bit about why banking tools matter and how the business owners can use online banking and even consumers on the other side, but we're focusing on what it really does for a business owner. It definitely saves them time. We talked about how it's going to improve their cash flow. We have services that connect a scanner where they can go into online banking, launch this scanner, make deposits right from their desk, and that funds go right into their bank account right then and there. So sometimes people want to go into the branches and they're depositing money there at the teller. Well, this speeds it up a little bit.
Right,
so if they're collecting quickly, they don't have to wait, right? So that gets money in their bank account quick.
Sometimes it's nice to go into the
Absolutely,
but
yes.
it does take some time if you're there at the wrong time.
Or they're paying their employees sometimes to do that. And our systems, help reduce risk on their accounts from fraud. Fraud is rampant out there today. So a lot of these tools we recommend to our community because it does help them stay more secure and run things a little bit more efficiently. The other element we have, around our online banking is about automatic payments. Many businesses have to pay payments, right? They're being able to wire funds out if something's a little bit more urgent. They've got to get the money there quicker. So we talk a little bit about, real-time payments and how that creates efficiencies for businesses and the money behind the madness sometimes for business owners. So these tools help them run their operation a little bit more efficiently and control the timing on when things need to happen, which then in turn helps them predict where they need to be with their cash.
Right, and they can set those times and dates to make it more efficient for them.
Yes, absolutely. So the other element I had talked about was preventing fraud. Fraud is rampant these days. We have to be in a partnership with our customers as well. And what that means is we've got systems in place that allow a business owner to say, hey, here's an item trying to come in and clear my account. Hey, that's fraud. That's not an item that I issued out to anybody. So that system gives them the ability to stop that. They don't have to close their accounts. We stop that payment. It never hits the account, and they have full control of managing if fraud is trying to hit there. And if people are worried about, they have a lot of employees, they want to make sure that they're having other people access systems, but maybe they want to control approving, different things that are happening on payments. We have the ability to make sure somebody can issue a payment, but has to approve a payment in the system. So again, that managing that fraud on their business. And then just manage the accounts overall. This gives them the operating account overview. They can manage their tax reserve accounts. Again, fraud protection, move money around. So we use a lot of this technology to really help companies and make it available to them. And then just smart safes. That's another really new cool tool. When you think about money moving around, and Aaron's a conversation around buying goods and services, what these smart safes do now, they're in a store, money goes into those safes, and then it communicates to our bank how much is in there, and we credit that business owner at the end of every day. So it's a really cool technology that is evolving over time that many businesses now can take advantage of. So really cool tools. And then really just a little bit about us and our community. We really want to be here to make local decisions, which does help move things along quicker and give really good high touch. I like to say we like to roll out that green carpet for our members that come into the organization.
The green carpet.
The green carpet, right? Not red carpet, but green carpet. And just really looking at our modern and progressing technology to help with that. So really, we encourage the community to come visit with us, come sit down and have some friendly conversations, and we have lots of tools to really help companies do what they need to do best and be here for a trusted advisor.
Yeah, and I can say that definitely there's a lot of services, and come on back over, Deanna, because Valley Strong has been a great partner of Do the Math and the Kern County Superintendent of Schools since the inception of this program almost 25 years ago. And we certainly do appreciate everything that you guys do as far as the community is concerned, helping businesses get started and maintaining them, and then also doing things with the students to help them better understand. And then having those branches in some of the schools also is a big opportunity
really
also for them to learn.
It's a great start we had. Our roots are in education, and that's why it's so critical that we maintain these partnerships and we give students the opportunity to be exposed to the industry early on. And many of those students move on to be employees of the organization and turned into leadership roles. So it's been a really awesome partnership.
So a little bit off the topic, but kind of on topic. If you're playing Monopoly, is there a certain part of the board you try to monopolize or try to gain control of?
I love to buy hotels and put them around the moot so I can make some more money.
Go. More than the houses, right?
More than the houses.
Deanna, thank you very much for coming in this afternoon.
Thank you so much, Mike.
We'll be back with more right after this.
Today's mathematician of the day is Leonardo Fibonacci. Born in 1170, he was an Italian mathematician, first to publish European works on Indian and Arabian mathematics and to introduce Hindu and Arabic numerals to Europe. So that would mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's where that came from. He started that in Europe. He was a rock star of mathematics and published multiple books. In one of his books, he posed the following question. A certain man put a pair of rabbits in a place surrounded on each side by a wall. How many pairs of rabbits can be produced from that pair in a year if it is supposed that every month each pair begets a new pair from which the second month and on becomes productive? It is this question that he came up with this answer, and it looked like this: 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, and on and on. It was not until later that that first one was added. Remember, he was not coming up with a sequence here. He was answering his own question. But later, it was not until 1634 that someone said, let's throw a 1 up there, and it becomes this formula. 1 plus 1 gives me 2. 1 plus 2 gives me 3. 2 plus 3 gives me 5. 3 plus 5 gives me... And you can see how it continues on and on and on. This was recognized as the golden ratio a little bit later in 1753, and it was not until the 1800s that it was coined the Fibonacci sequence, and scientists began finding this sequence in nature, in sunflowers, pine cones, snail shells, animal horns, but they didn't see it obviously like this. What they saw instead looked something like this. If I draw a box, it is a 1 by 1 box, it has an area of 1. If I do another box, it has an area of 1. That is 1 as well. If I do another box off of those, that has a length of 2, a 2 by 2 square. There's my 2. Now I can keep going on. I have a length of 3. If I make a square that's a 3 by 3, there's my 3. If I go ahead and go from here, there's 1, 2, 1, 1, and 3. That gives me 5. And I'm here. Again, if this length is 5, 5, 1, 2, that gives me 8. And I have a length of 8, so I have a square that is now an 8 by 8. And you can see 8, 2, 3, that gives me my 13, and I have this big square, that's a rectangle, that looks like this. And if we begin to draw in our corners, we begin this spiral, and the spiral will continue again and again and again, and it is this that everyone seems to find in nature, and this is why the Fibonacci sequence has become so beloved.
Did you know that 8 is a Fibonacci number? The Fibonacci sequence was created by Leonardo of Pisa, and it is a sequence of numbers. The sequence starts with 1, then 1 plus 1 equals 2, 2 plus 1 equals 3, 3 plus 2 equals 5, and it keeps repeating like that. Now you know.
Everybody loves our buddy Fibonacci. In studio is Aaron, a 7th grade student from Warren. And have you ever heard of Fibonacci or the Fibonacci sequence before today?
No.
All right, well, it's a big day for you now, son. Now, it was a big day for you earlier today, too, right? What happened today?
I aced my math quiz.
You didn't even just pass it, you aced it.
Yes.
Nicely done. So what was the quiz on? You do like 2 plus 2, 2 plus 3, 2 plus 4?
No, it was like 1/2 divided by like 4, and like since she let us use our calculator, I used it, and I used it. Before I had studied my study guide, and I felt confident.
Well, good. Well, see, that's the thing right there, right? Use your study guide, feel confident, use the tools you have. That's why earlier when we were doing that problem, you were going like that, and I said, use your fingers, right? A lot of kids, sometimes they get embarrassed counting like this. These are tools. Use your tools to help you with math. It doesn't matter, you know, somebody might be like, well, I need to count this. Do it however makes it easier for you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, good. Because I've got a beautiful problem for you to work on right now. So head on over to the board. You and Scott are going to take a look at this. So boys, take it away.
So Aaron, what do you think here? You want to read this problem for us?
Yeah. There is a wooden box without a lid holding a 4 times 4 times 4 collection of 64 blocks. How many of the blocks touch a part of the box?
That's a really interesting question, huh? So we have a picture here. Looks like they're all colored up. Kind of like a really big Rubik's Cube, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so inside, if you can think of this as a 3-dimensional picture, right? That we would have 4 rows of blocks, right? And each row has 4 times 4, which is 16, 16 times 4, 64. All the blocks are in there. We want to know how many of them touch a part of the box. So tell me a little bit about what we need to think about, and what parts of the box do we have to think about? Like, where could they be touching?
Like We could multiply.
Well, tell me, like, first of all, is this box right here, is that box touching the box?
Yeah.
Is this block is touching, right? It's touching the top, it's touching the side, touching the front part too,
Yeah.
right? In fact, all of these ones that we see here in color
Yes.
are essentially touching like the front side,
They're
right?
touching the box. Yes.
Where are the other blocks that are touching the outside of the box? Where are they? Like, we don't have an exact picture of them, but like if you were to think about it in your mind, right? This is all filled with 64 blocks. Which ones are actually touching the sides, or which sides do we have to worry about?
The middle, probably.
Well, like this top part right here.
Oh,
Right? Like if you think of that as the middle, like there's a layer of blocks here, and they're all touching the top part, right?
Yes.
Now remember, there's no lid.
Oh, there's
yeah.
no lid. That's right.
So there's no
we don't have to worry
top.
about that part, right? Yeah.
So if you think about how many sides are on the box altogether,
Right.
take the lid away,
okay.
it might be an easier way to go, like there's 16.
Yeah. So how many
Right,
sides do we
whatever.
have? If there's no lid on this box, how many sides do we have?
3.
We got the front.
Oh wait, the front, the side, the back, and then the other side. That's 4.
And then
the bottom.
the bottom too, right?
that's
So
5.
there's actually 5 sides, all right? So that's the sides we have to worry about. Okay. And then on these 4 sides, the ones that go around, right? This one has 16, and then over there, and then in the back, all those ones are all touching. In fact, all the ones in the bottom are touching. So really, what do we want to count?
The ones at the bottom.
The ones at the bottom are all also touching also. We really want to count the ones that are in the middle, if you can kind of picture that,
Oh yeah,
right?
there's 4 that are in the middle.
Yeah, these ones right here are touching this side, but the ones behind them would not be touching any side at all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we want to figure out how many are in the middle. That's kind of a weird deal. So when you were thinking about these boxes inside, how many boxes do you have there that are like inside that are not touching?
4.
4, yeah. So you kind of have a 4, and if you think about maybe, that little column of boxes, right, all the way down the middle. Now, everything all the way around the edges, all these boxes, they're all touching the sides, right?
Yeah.
But the ones in the middle, we know are not, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we know we have those 4, and they would be on this level right here, right?
Yes.
Let's go down one more level. Are there 4 more there that are not touching any sides?
No. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you kind of have to picture in your mind. I know it's kind of hard to draw, huh? It's almost like taking this thing like an elevator and going down to the next level, right?
So what we're going to do is we're going to stop you guys right there because you're on your way, and this is a good problem.
Yeah.
But we don't want to rush through it because there's going to be some little twists and turns to it also.
Okay.
So I want you guys to keep looking at that, but we're going to check in with them again right after this.
Hi, I'm Bill, and we're in the machine shop today. We're looking at some of the tools of math. The real reason for tools and measuring is you can make a lot of money if you know how to measure things properly. And you save a lot too by getting it right. We'll start with some of the tools here. Everybody here is going to know a measuring tape. And for rough measurements, we'll use a measuring tape. And we know the fractions. We can say 3.5 inches, 3 1/8 inches. These next ones are called scales. They have even finer definitions inside of them. Parts of an inch, sometimes a 50th of an inch, a 10th of an inch. So you can see different gradations in the scale. And when you want to do different types of work, to be more or less precise. Some things don't need to be very precise, like making a wall in a house. 1/8 of an inch will do. When you're building furniture, carpentry, maybe you want to go down to a 1/16 of an inch. When you're working on an automotive engine, you want to go to 1/1000th of an inch. And just to give you a little scale, a piece of paper is 3/1000ths of an inch, and our error is only going to be 1/1000th of an inch, so 1/3 of the thickness of a piece of paper is where our error is here. It's really fascinating and amazing to me. The way we get there is with a caliper. This is a set of calipers. You can move it and you can measure something, and this thing here is 1.0095 inches, 1 9,000 inches. So we'll know that. And when we want to measure something big, we have a big set of calipers. So this will go out to 18 inches in measuring something. And let's talk about inches inches versus metric. Which system's better? They're both equal to the same. In your house, go with inches because everything in the house is already built to inches. In your car, go with metric because all the nuts and bolts are probably metric. If we're going to be very accurate, we use a tool called a micrometer. And a micrometer has a small screw inside of here that as I turn it, it moves exactly the same amount with each revolution. And then I can read on here how many thousandths of an inch something is. And with a little scale on here called a vernier, we can read to the 10,000th of an inch. 10,000th of an inch is what you need when you're building aircraft engines. So we call it aerospace work. So tools are broken down by homeowner, contractor, mechanic, machinist, and aircraft. They get more and more precise as you go because the need for measuring very precisely is more important with aircraft.
Always fascinated by all of the different tools in mathematics. 636-4357 is the phone number. We do have phone tutors most Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Just a programming note, no live programming next week due to the Thanksgiving holiday. Time now, though, for a little art and math.
Welcome back to Art Undo the Math. I'm Sam, and today we are creating an acrylic painting that we're focusing on the rule of thirds. So I just heard you guys were talking about the Fibonacci sequence and the golden rule. The rule of thirds is a little bit different. It is a kind of more quicker, easier way to select some composition that looks dynamic, and it's asymmetrical. A lot of times rule of thirds is used in photography. You sometimes will see that grid on your iPhone, kind of helps you place things. That's the rule of thirds. So
All right, well, it looks like Sam's having a little difficulty with the microphone, so we will get out there as soon as we get that all solved. Could happen in a couple of seconds, could happen in a moment or so, but in the meantime, we have Aaron in 7th grade at Warren, and you guys are still working on your blocks, so continue with that, and if I cut you short, it's because we're going to go back out to art.
This is part of art, right? We have some colorful things going on here.
Yeah.
All right, Aaron, so we talked a little bit about the sides. We don't want to touch the sides or the bottom, but we do have a little column in the middle, right? So far we have 4 of them that are not touching. Mm-hmm. And then we were talking about the next level down of blocks, right? Yeah. So if you were thinking about this level, this second level, all the way through, which ones or how many blocks in that level are not touching the sides?
2.
We have 2 right behind here, right?
Yeah.
But if you think about these 4, think about that like an elevator shaft going right down the middle, right? Right down the middle. There's 4 here in this level, and there's 4 more in this level, right? There's 2, and then there's 2 more behind that. The 2 on the very back side are going to touch the back side, the back wall, so that's not so good. So what I'm thinking about here is we have 4 on the top, which is this level, and we have 4 more on that level.
All right, so you guys are at the second level, which is good. We're making progress.
We're making progress.
All right, right now we're making progress. We're going to go back over to Sam, check out how the art and math is going right now.
all right, we're back here. So the rule of thirds, what we did here today, so we broke up our picture into a grid of 9, and then you have 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. So with when you're doing landscapes here, you can decide whether you want your horizon line at the 1/3 mark or the 2/3 mark. A lot of times with like ocean scenes or seascapes, you want to have more ocean. Today we're doing this landscape here. What we did was we found our PowerPoint. So a PowerPoint is where the grid crosses over. And these are the places you want. If you're doing the photography, usually you want people's eyes to cross here. So right now what we're doing is our PowerPoint became our sun. And then our sky, right now, what's our fraction of sky? How many? 2/3 is our sky, right? So then our ground or our landscape or the grass is going to be 1/3 of our picture. Currently, they have all painted their skies already. Their PowerPoint is the sun. And then right now, we're going to start painting our grass. So I want you guys to dip you can clean that brush that you're just using. You're going to wash it off. And then we're going to grab some yellow and some green, the light green that is. And then all I want you to do is you're going to just do some down strokes first. So you're just going to come across that line that we drew. We don't want to see that anymore. And you're just going to start creating some strokes that come down. You can do a couple layers. You don't want to blend it so much. You want to see the texture of the yellow and the green coming together. So we're going to fill in this last third of our painting with these grasses, but we're going to do 3 levels. We're going to do this light green, and then we're going to do a dark green, and then as it gets closer, we're going to do the black, because since it's a sunset, I just grabbed some black. If it's a sunset, you're getting all over your, the shadows are going to be behind. So everything would be turned black. So as we paint this light green all the way across, your second level will be dark green and light green too. So I do the dark green and the light green. So as we're moving forward, we talked about that element of art of value. As we created our value from light to dark in our sky, we're now going to create the light to dark down on our grasses. So that dark green to light green. So, like I said, this method of rule of thirds is a little bit easier and quicker for instead of the golden ratio or the golden rule, but that also is another technique for painting. But this one is quick and easy, and especially good for photography and landscapes. I'm going to finish this darker, then my last level will be the black. Then once you guys get back, or once we finish our grasses, we'll start with our trees, which will be in black, and then our last step will be with our all the red leaves. I'm going to give you guys another brush for that. So tell me, you guys, what was the thing called where the lines intersect? You guys remember?
The PowerPoint.
PowerPoint, good. All right. So anytime if you're creating some pictures, I kind of showed them this here, so you have your grid, but this just kind of shows you some different ways. So like if you have your grid here for a seascape, maybe on this PowerPoint you can put your sailboat. Or even this photography, they had 2/3 sky, 1/3 land. PowerPoint tree was down here. Same here, the ocean. PowerPoint here was your lighthouse. So, and again, this is just a quick, easy way if you're just trying to make your composition look a little more dynamic. It's just easy to kind of visualize where those PowerPoints are and where you would place your things. So we're going to let these kids finish this grass, and then when you come back, we'll be working on our trees and creating those red leaves to have a nice fall landscape. All right, back to you, Mike.
Be nice to see what they decide to put on their PowerPoints on that art project right there. In studio, we have Aaron, a 7th grade student from Warren, working on the block problem. So boys, tell me where you're at and what you want to do next.
Karen, what do you think? What are you thinking over here now? We have the first level and we got the second level.
We should go down to.
We're going to go down to the third level, right? Okay, so if you think about this level right here, it goes all the way back, and you think about these 4 blocks, kind of like an elevator shaft, all the way in the middle. How many are in that level that don't touch the sides?
4.
Yeah, there's 4 more in there, huh? Go ahead, put +4 up there, so we know that part. There you go, good deal. So now we're going to go down to the last level, right?
Yeah.
No pressure. A little bit of pressure, as my friend Lindsay says, but no pressure. Here we go. What do you think is going to happen here on this level? How many blocks on that level are not touching any sides?
2.
We're thinking. I know. I can tell you're thinking. Think about this elevator shaft going all the way down the middle, right? There's 2 behind here. There's 2 behind there. But also think about this level right here at the very bottom. Which side are all of those blocks touching? Are they all touching this side?
No.
No. Are they all touching this side?
No.
Are they all touching the front? Are they all touching the back?
No.
Are they all touching
The bottom.
the bottom?
Yeah.
They are, so we don't have to worry about that one, right? So this one right here, not even necessary to count, because all of those ones there, even the ones we can't see in that little shaft right in the middle, all of those blocks are touching one of the sides. So we don't have to worry about that part because we want to know how many of the blocks touch a part of the block, touch a part of the box, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have found the ones in the middle that are not touching.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yes.
So these ones are the only ones in the whole thing that are not touching the box, right? At least in the middle part. Okay, so as we look at the question here, how many of the blocks touch a part of the box, right? These ones in the middle don't touch,
Yeah.
right? So the good thing is, how many total do we have at the beginning?
64.
64, and if we take away those ones, we'll have part of the answer. We have to go back and think about one more thing. Is there anything else that we have not considered?
Adding all the 4s.
Which other ones? Yeah, we have to add those up, right?
Yeah.
But which other ones possibly, like if you think about the top of the box, right? The good thing is there's no lid on it.
Yeah.
So we don't have to worry about that part. Are there any other boxes at all on the top part?
No.
They're not, huh? Because they touch either this side, or they touch that side, or they touch this side, or they touch this side, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how many blocks did we come up with that don't touch the box? How many did we come up with?
12.
Okay, go ahead and add them, put the 12 up there. And read that problem one more time. What does it say? How many?
How many blocks are, wait, how many of the blocks touch a part of the box?
And what did we find?
12.
What did we find though? We found how many of the blocks don't touch the box, right?
12.
So if you have a total and you know how many don't touch, how are you going to find how many actually do?
You multiply 12 by 5?
A little bit less, right? We have a total right here, right? We have
Yeah,
64, right?
Yeah.
And we want to take away the ones that don't touch at all, and whatever's left is what's going to be touching, right? If we only found the ones that don't touch, if you take away, go ahead and take away 12. If you take away 12, the ones that don't touch anything at all, we should be left with all the blocks that touch the sides, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you got?
52.
So there's a lot of blocks there
Yeah.
that touch the sides, right?
Yes.
And so sometimes when we look at a problem like this, I'm really glad that we attacked this problem this way, because it was not only a good mental experiment to be able to do to think about what's going on inside the middle of this entire block that we can't see, but not only that, let's think about a block like this one over here, right? Think about this block right here. We're drawing the top of it. We're drawing over here the side.
Yeah.
This one block. How many sides does this one block touch?
3.
Yeah, it touches this side, touches that side, touches the top if it had a lid, right? So if we just counted the ones on the sides, we might count them twice. We might count them 3 times, right? If you look about this one right here, we'd probably count that one 3 times. Touches the bottom, touches the right, touches the front.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's good to count what you're actually looking for. And in this case, we actually looked the opposite direction and we said, what are we not looking for? And then we subtracted it out.
And that's a good strategy to use sometimes on a lot of different problems. So I've got a question for you. Do you like barbecue?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, who doesn't like barbecue? Well, you know what? For doing a great problem right there and working yourself through that one, you've got yourself a meal courtesy of our friends at Primetime Barbecue. So congratulations on that. Hopefully you have an opportunity to go down, see Louis and Maya, and enjoy some of that barbecue. We'll be back with more right after this.
Does anything orbit the moon? Yes, NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter and a handful of other active spacecraft are currently orbiting the moon. One of the really cool CubeSats I'm excited about is NASA Capstone, which will be joining these other spacecraft in orbit around the moon. Capstone stands for the Cislunar Autonomous Positioning System Technology Operations and Navigation Experiment. It serves as a pathfinder mission for Gateway as part of NASA's Artemis program. Gateway is a space station that will orbit the moon and provide a place for astronauts to resupply and prepare for their trips down to the lunar surface. Did you know that orbits around the moon are very unstable? The moon's gravity is extraordinarily lumpy, so it's really hard to stay in orbit around the moon. If a satellite orbits too close to the lunar surface, the moon's gravity might cause the satellite to actually crash into the moon. On the other hand, if the satellite is slightly too far away from the moon, the Earth's gravity will pull the spacecraft out, flinging it away from the moon altogether. What's really cool about Capstone is that it's the first spacecraft to test the entrance and sustainability of a very unique near rectilinear halo orbit, also known as NRHO. This NRHO orbit is at a precise balance point between the gravities of the Earth and the Moon, which offers a long, stable orbit so that Gateway and future spacecraft don't have to carry so much fuel to stay in orbit around the Moon. Capstone is helping lead the way for Gateway and helps reduce risk for future spacecraft in this orbit. Another really cool thing about Capstone is that it is also demonstrating a really innovative navigation system that will allow future spacecraft to determine their location without having to rely exclusively on tracking from Earth. So, does anything orbit the Moon? In summary, yes, there are several spacecraft orbiting the Moon, and there will be plenty more to come, including Capstone, as part of NASA's Artemis program.
All right, so Aaron's still in studio with us, and that was an awesome problem, wasn't it there, brother? You like that one?
Yeah.
All right, so this is an app, a game called Struggly, and there are no directions with these games. You simply have to figure out what to do.
Okay.
So, you and Scott, see if you can figure out what to do.
Don't ask me because I don't know what to do either. No, let's figure out what's going on here. What does it look like we have at the beginning? Oh, it has somebody touching a penny.
Yeah, we have a penny.
Yeah, so we got a penny. And then at least it has one word on there, so that's good.
Yeah. It says drop 0.0.2.
Okay, so what do you think we're talking about here if we have a penny?
So we'll like probably drop the penny where on the scale.
Okay, can you give it a try?
Yeah.
Move it around. We don't need pens or anything. You just kind of take that thing.
Okay.
Oh, try again. Oh, look at that. You just put one in there.
Yeah.
And it looks like this thing moved up, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I drop one more, right?
Okay, drop one more. Let's see what happens.
We have
Okay, so
two.
maybe this is what our goal is for each part, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, if you want to go to the next one, go ahead and hit the arrow there. See what happens. Aha. Now, it didn't give us a penny, and then the next one in regular money would be a nickel, right? 5 cents. It didn't give us that. What did it give us instead?
2 cents.
Yeah, it gave us
So-
2.
We'll do this,
Okay.
then this,
Okay.
and then that.
Look at that. So you got 5. All right. So the next one, I want you to think a little bit ahead of time and say, what are we going to do with this one before you even start touching things? Okay. Go ahead and get to the next level. Level 3. Whoa. So tell me how much we're dropping here.
1 cent.
Okay. Look at it closely. If this number came up on a cash register, if you were buying some candy, some little pieces of candy, and this number came up on a cash register, how much money would you owe?
1 cent.
Not true.
Wait.
Tell me what 1 cent looks like on the cash register. It has $0, right? Then it has a decimal, and then what does it say?
Another 0.
0.1, right? Yeah, and that's not what this says. This says 0.1, and then if you had to put a number at the end, what would be the next number on the cash register? This one doesn't have it, but if you had to, right, what number could you put at the end that wouldn't change the value, but it would be on the cash register if you said, oh, that's how much you owe. $0,
$0, yeah.
and then 1, and what's the last digit?
0?
A 0, yeah. So really there's like a 0 there.
Yeah.
So how much money is that?
0.10
Yeah. 10 what?
cents.
10 cents. That's it. You got it. You got to be more confident, man. You aced that test today. You know what you're doing. That's all good. So tell me what you're going to do before you do it, though. So it looks like now they've given us a 1 cent piece and a couple of 2 cent pieces. Looks like maybe this number tells us how many you have in your pocket. And then now they have a 5 cent piece like a nickel. So how do you want to go ahead and see if you can drop not 1 cent, but 10 cents, right?
Yeah.
How are you going to do that?
5.
Okay, so you got 5. Tell me a little bit ahead of time now what you're going to do with the rest of it. It tells you, the good thing is it tells you where you are so far.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen next? Before you touch it, tell me what you're going to do.
Add 2 cents.
Okay, 2, and then what else was going to happen after that?
Add another 2.
Another 2 cents, and then your last move is going to be what?
A 1.
I like it. So we have a mental idea of what's going to go on. Let's see if it works. Go ahead and do it. You can do it kind of quick. You're going to do a 2. You're going to do another. Oh, it looks like it took away the whole thing, huh?
Wait.
But it didn't. Yeah. Another 2, and then the last one is a 1. Good job. There you go. I like it. So you're thinking already a little bit ahead of time about what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, once again, tell me how much money this is. Don't say 2 cents.
20 cents.
20 cents, that's it. So now we got a little bit of better idea, right? Again, think about that cash register. Even though you don't see a 0 there, there is a 0
Yeah.
there.
And
Okay.
we'll see how you do with this one, and then we'll see if we have time for another one. So go ahead and drop that 20 cents.
So I'm going to drop 10.
That's a good idea. That's a good start. You're halfway there.
I'm going to drop a 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1, 5. That.
Yeah. So 10 and 5 is 15, and 2 more is 17. Got to get to 20.
17,
Yep.
19.
19 and 20.
20.
Good job. Well done.
Now, what you could have done differently, because you had 9 1-cent pieces,
Yeah, they gave us a bunch of them.
could you have used other 1-cent pieces instead of something else? Because when you add 15 in there,
Well, instead of 2,
2.
could it break that into ones, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Instead of 2, you could have 2 ones.
Yeah.
Look
there
at
you
that.
go. So some different ways to tackle all the different problems.
Yeah.
So nicely done dropping those decimals in a well. We'll be back with more right after this.
The moon provides a stable surface that's better than a space station in the sense of it being a platform for telescopes. We can build on it, we can have more permanent stability. We can build optical telescopes and we could build radio telescopes using craters as back-end forms for radio telescope dishes. And the environment is good from all perspectives for the optical and the radio in that there's no atmosphere, and so we're not looking through that funky atmosphere that gives optical telescopes problems. And we are removed from light pollution. So if we could go to the moon from a lunar base, for example, and use that as the outpost and then build the infrastructure of the telescope on the moon using materials from the moon, that would be ideal. But long-term operation of a telescope on the moon compared to, say, a space telescope or an instrument on a satellite, the moon, we can go visit and we can tweak, we can add new instruments, we can be there with the telescope in a way that we wouldn't be able to with a satellite-based telescope. Operations-wise, because the gravity is lower, we might be able to, well, we could build bigger optical mirrors. On Earth, the limitation is not only technical, but it's also the gravity. The gravity deforms the optical mirror if it gets too big. On the moon, gravity is lower, weaker, and so we could build larger structures. We have no atmosphere on the moon, and so we have a pristine view of the cosmos, just like a space telescope does. One of the benefits of a space telescope is being outside of the atmosphere. That's the optical telescope. The radio telescope, for very similar reasons, we can build much larger single dishes of the radio telescope, and again using craters perhaps as that support structure. On the far side of the moon, the radio interference that's coming from the Earth constantly from radio broadcasts and television and radar and that sort of thing is completely blocked by the moon. And so on the far side of the moon, we have a very pristine radio environment. We're only detecting radio emissions from the astronomical objects. We're not being interfered with by radio transmissions from the Earth.
Well, I know the students were working on the rule of thirds and then figuring out where their horizon was going. We're working on trees and then some of the PowerPoints and what they were going to put there. So let's head back out to the STEAM yard with Sam and see how the students are doing with the project.
All right, so we've continued on. We've got our 2/3 of our sky and 1/3 of our ground here. And now we're working on creating our trees. So we've talked about how a lot of times in art you want to have things with odd numbers. So I chose to have 7 trees. And so I have 2 that are on this side of this third, and then the others on the 2/3 of that section. And so the students have decided whether they want 7, however many trees they have. Some might have larger, some might have smaller. So we're working on these trees. And our next step is to create some branches. And you can see in my picture up here that I kept my branches in the upper third section of my painting. And so what's going to happen is we're going to use our small brush. We're going to use branches that kind of come and arch around our sun. They'll overlap each other, and that's okay. And then they don't have to be fully formed, but we're going to be putting some leaves on top of those. And so as you guys are finishing up where you want your trees and kind of creating the trunks a little bit longer, that's when you'll use that small brush, dip it in your paint, and start at the branch, and then you're going to pull and just start to create where you want some branches coming off of your trees here. Like I said, they might overlap each other. You try and keep them up in that third top portion of your canvas. So we're keeping them with our fractions and the rule of thirds. Like I said, if you have a bigger tree, that's okay. You can still use these smaller branches. And if you feel like your paint is wet or your stems aren't pulling as easy, go ahead and dip your brush in the water, dry it off a little bit, and that will help you get these stems a little smoother. So creating just a little forest, little happy trees, some Bob Ross. And then once we get just our branches in here in this top part, I have a different brush. And then these brushes that I brought are brushes that have almost been kind of killed by students, but they end up working really great for leaves. So let me show you some of these. So if you ever art at home and you end up having a brush that looks kind of like that, and you want to think, oh, I should throw that away, actually, it's a really great brush for making leaves. So this is something that you want to save, those squished out brushes. So I'm going to give you guys all one of these, and then we're going to start to work on our leaves. These are looking great, you guys. So tell me over here, what do you guys think about the rule of thirds? Do you think it's an easy way to create composition?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think it's easier to space out where you want certain things in your paintings.
Right, yeah. Does it make you think too, like maybe taking pictures on your camera, placement like that? Yeah. Okay, what about you guys? If you guys were gonna do another painting with a rule of thirds, would you guys do a seascape, a landscape?
I would do a seascape
Yeah?
because I just like drawing beaches.
Yeah, I do too. I was actually thinking about doing a seascape, but that would have taken way longer than just an hour. Yeah. What about you? How do you feel about this rule of thirds?
I think it's pretty cool. I'm probably gonna use it later in my art adventures, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I know, I like it just because it gives you something quick and easy to just start going for it. All right. How about you guys? What do you guys think you'll do if you do another rule of thirds picture?
Maybe I'll do something with clouds.
Yeah.
And a sunset.
Okay.
Definitely seascape.
You want to go seascape?
Really nice.
What about, what are you going to say?
I think I would draw a person because I have a hard time drawing those people, and I think a rule of thirds grid could really center the face.
Yeah, yeah. No, I saw a picture and it was one that had, it was a photography, but it had this whole scene to the left, so I feel like we want to center things all the time, but really to make things a little more interesting is putting things off balance. So using that rule of thirds really just takes it into another unique perspective. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys this red, right? So with your red, and I've given you kind of these messed up brushes, all we're going to do is we're just going to take your red, and then we're going to start just layering in dots. And it's okay if your black is still wet because that will create different values of the red. So I'm going to do red first, and like I said, I'm going to try and stay in this top third area with my leaves overlapping. And a lot of your leaves, they don't even have to go, they don't have to hit the tree. You're just implying that they are filling up this tree area, right? So you can do the dark red, you can grab some red and some orange. So you're going to just continue to fill that in. Okay, so I'm going to give you that red. So overall, you guys, we've learned about rule of thirds. A little bit different than the Fibonacci sequence, a little bit quicker and easier, but I think it's something really easy for everyone to take away and really create some different and meaningful compositions. So as we finish up this, I know we're heading back to the studio real quick, but make sure you check our social media, see these finished pieces, and we will take a group picture when we're done here. So that is it for art today. Back to you, Mike.
Thanks for that, Sam, and I'm sure they're going to look fantastic. So once again, check that out on our social media. In studio, we have Erin, a 7th grade student from Warren Junior High, and you did rather well on your test, you said today.
Yes.
And I'd like you to come up with one problem, and you're going to go over that problem with Scott.
Okay.
Go ahead, write it down. Show me what you were working on today that you did so well. You're going to teach me what you did.
So one of the questions was 72.50 divided by 4.
Okay, gotcha. So you could even put a dollar sign on that and kind of do what we were doing before, right? You kind of have some money if you wanted to. So how did you go about this? So many ways to divide, and I like the fact that there's more and more ways that people come up with to divide when you're teaching math now, because some people think of problems a little differently. How did you do this problem?
So, well, actually, she let us use a calculator, so it kind of made
Okay,
it
so the
easier.
challenge of the day, if you
Yeah.
didn't have a calculator, how would you go about it?
I'll probably go like, I'll divide 1 by 1.
Okay, yeah, let's give it a shot.
So, like to divide 4 from 72, 4,
Oh, you're gonna do the whole thing here? How about 4 into 7? How many times does that go?
4 into 7, that goes in 1 time.
It goes in 1 time, huh? Yeah, so we can
Yeah,
put a 1 there. But how many's
because-
left over?
1, right?
No, 7 minus
oh.
4? What's left over?
7 minus 4 is...
That's right, use those fingers, man.
Okay. 6, 5, 4, 3.
That's it,
So
you got
3.
it. So here's one quick way to do some division sometimes if you don't have a calculator. You can just put that 3 right next to the 2.
Okay.
So what's 32 divided by 4?
32 divided by 4.
Now you really got to do.
8,
Yeah, 4, 8, 12.
16.
Yep. Keep on going. Keep on going. We got to get to 32.
16. Wait, okay. So 16.
Yep.
What's it?
20.
20.
Yep.
24.
Good.
28.
And one more.
And
32.
32.
That's
yeah.
what we were shooting for. So we have an 8 there, right? Because you counted 8
Yeah.
fingers. That's a good thing. So there's no remainder there. Don't have to worry about that part. What is 5 divided by 4? How many times does 4 go into 5? We're going to even change colors one more time here.
1 time.
1 time. That's it. And how many are left over this time?
There's 1.
1. So that goes right here, right?
Yeah.
Ah, interesting. How many times does 4 go into 10?
2 times.
2 times. And the really weird part is there's a couple left over, huh?
Yeah.
How many are left over?
Wait. A couple left.
Yeah, a couple of them. How many?
18.12.
There's 2 left over, right? 2 of them. So you can always add another 0 if you had to, right? You can always add a bunch more zeros on here if you really need them. And this time we do. So now we're going to go, how many times does 4 go into 20? That's our last one, and it's going to go evenly, so we'll be done after this one.
4, 8,
Yeah.
12, 16, 8, wait,
20.
20.
You're there. So how many is that?
That's 5.
That's it. Put the 5 right on the end. So calculators, awesome, right?
Yeah.
But let's say the whole entire grid goes down and there's no phone reception and you can't do anything at all and all you have is a patch of dirt. You could do this, right?
Yeah.
With your fingers, and you could do this by maybe moving some numbers around and being able to divide. Do you remember on your quiz? You must have gotten that answer, right? Because you aced the quiz.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, of course I did.
Nicely done and colorful as well. Come on over here, boys. All right, so Aaron, you are now an ambassador for Do the Math.
Okay.
And one of the tools we're going to give you is this. Do you know what this is?
Yeah.
What
it's
is
a
it?
Rubik's Cube.
You know how to do this? You master of this?
No, I see my friend solve it, but like I think he taught me something about it. Like
All right, well, you know what? You can practice with it a little
Yeah.
bit and stuff like that. You can tell people about Do the Math, and you can kind of become a wizard of the Do the Math Rubik's Cube. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. Did you learn a little something while you were here today?
yeah, I learned how to do division without a calculator.
Yeah, there you go, right? So there's a lot of things you can do without a calculator, right? So did you have fun today?
Yeah.
That's
had a
the
lot of
most
fun.
important thing right there. Nicely done. Hey, remember, no shows next week due to the Thanksgiving holiday. Enjoy the holiday, and until we meet again, continue to do the math.
Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, California Resources Corporation, Edison International, Center for Neural Skills, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Kern High School District, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, Tuolumne County Superintendent of Schools, and Valley Strong Credit Union, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education.